Welcome back to Dime Comic Bros podcast. There are only two of us here. Me, Jacob, hello, and Collin. And we're not even going to do the theme song. We're just going to go straight into our review of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Spencer's been dying to review this, and we finally watched it, and we're ready to talk about it. And it sucks that he's not here, but he's gonna have to deal with it. So, what'd you think?
I was actually very excited for this movie to come out, and I went to the theaters.
It was awful, wasn't it?
It was absolutely dreadful.
Oh my gosh, it was painful to watch.
Yeah, like I wanted them to not be, the name's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but like we know they're not teenagers, They're like 30-year-old dudes fighting crime, right?
Right.
Because Master Splinter wouldn't just let them out and do their own thing,
I was most excited about the animation style, and it looked like mud scraped across the screen.
Yeah, it was just... It was like too much, There's too much going on. I can't really like fix my eyes on anything, and not to mention,
there wasn't a whole lot of color in it either. Like I had a hard time telling which turtle was which.
Yeah, for real. The only color you could see is how fruity that Leonardo was.
I cannot believe they turned him gay. Like
I can't believe either.
Why?
Also, Donatello being such a freaking weeb.
That kind of fits. Come on.
It does. I mean, him with his JoJo poses, and of course, he would love Jujutsu Kaisen because of all the martial arts and stupid stuff like that. What a Gen Z.
They twinked Shredder. Like, why?
I know. I mean, Spencer will like that, but like they twinkified him. Like, Shredder isn't even Shredder. He's like kitchen knife.
Yes.
Yeah. Just, or like butter knife.
Just like straight. Stainless steel. Steel.
Not straight.
No. I know. But I mean, he's just like the design, the look of him is just like straight stainless steel, like a stainless steel refrigerator.
Yeah.
The most boring thing to look at.
He is just refrigerator man.
Twinkified Shredder. I don't even know if Shredder's in this movie.
I don't know either. We're just kidding. We still haven't seen it because we are very, very busy. But Spencer is also busy, but he goes to the movie theater in all of his free time because he basically lives there. He pays rent.
Pretty much.
And just sleeps in the little...
loft.
No, I was going to say the concession stand. He sleeps in one of those really uncomfortable chairs in the concession stand.
Right.
He's been after us to review it, and we keep putting him off, so that was the funny bit. Theme song!
Why buy a comic that might cost more than a dime? Come meet the brothers who are here to waste your time.
So anyway, we're actually here to talk about Coda.
Yay, it's Coda.
Do you want me to bring out my copy?
Yes, please bring out the copy.
Here to talk about Coda. It released last year?
Something like that. We read Coda, written by Simon Spurrier and arted by Matthias Bergara. And this book is this book is if you took fantasy, the fantasy genre, brought it out to the desert, and shot it in the head, and then dragged the corpse through the desert, and then hung out with it for 5 minutes, pretended to have a smoke, and then left it there, never to return. The whole point of this book...
Was that the author's own words?
A mix of it, and then some of mine. This book is... The whole point of it is trying to create a story that is reminiscent of the... high fantasy genre, and how silly it is, and like what its problems were, like the height of it in like the 30s, and the writer of this book talks about it in the back of the book, which I really enjoyed reading.
It was interesting reading that little note because it was a very negative note. He was extremely angry with just how high fantasy has turned out, and I read the whole note, and I was like, well, somebody didn't like Game of Thrones. Because that's just what I took away from it.
I mean, I kind of agree with him. I mean, as much as I do like some like fantasy and medieval stuff, it is all the same brew, basically. I mean, I would like to take Lord of the Rings out of that equation because Lord of the Rings inspired the best parts of fantasy.
That was in the 30s and 40s.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the part where he's talking about like where it was like its best. It's like its peak was there.
Yes.
Like its peak was when it started, which is odd for genres. But we follow our character, white-haired sad boy, and swearing pentacorn.
I love the pentacorn.
I love the pentacorn.
I knew
so
you
much.
would too.
I love, and at the very end on how like he explains how he like calms the pentacorn down. I loved that bit. There's so much of this that has inspired me for like my book. But we follow those characters, and our main character is basically, he writes in his journal that he is trying to save his wife from this demon that has taken her.
Hold up. The main character is a bard, so he's writing everything down.
Yeah, and I don't know how early on they explained that he was a bard. Was it early? Because
fairly early, I think.
I don't think I got it until we saw his wife. I don't think I remember reading it.
Like issue 4 or 5.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay, so yeah, early. Because there's 12 issues or chapters, how he says it. But this book, it follows that, and he explains how his wife is taken by this demon, and he's got to bring her back, and all these little things. And then around like issue 3 or 4, you find out that he's been using that idea of telling us, he's been lying to his journal, which is us, and he's been saying kind of what is happening, but figuratively, like a bard would.
Figuratively, so that he's lying to himself.
Yeah, and I was annoyed, but I really liked that because I'm like, fuck, that's what I would do. That is literally what I do with my own shit. He's literally
me.
Yeah, that's what I felt when I read that. And his wife's a muscle mommy.
Absolutely, and she is.
Yeah,
and she's horny.
Yes, she is.
Like horny for him.
Yes,
she's like, get over here.
Yes, I love this book. This book is fantastic. The writing's great. I mean, the exposition is kind of like a lot, but it makes sense.
It took you and me, and I'm glad that it was. That you said what was on my mind before I could say it, because it took us the first 3 or 4 issues to like get into the book. The first couple chapters were like, ugh, what is going on? There's so much like terminology that isn't explained, and it's like, what is happening right now? But then when that twist happens of like he finds his wife, was like suddenly just the roller coaster dropped out from under me, and I was fully invested.
Yes, immediately once I saw his wife and the whole like what's actually happening.
That's not what I meant.
Well, she's hot. She is hot. She's like an orc. They're called Urkin. Or urchin, however you want to call it. I say Urkin because that's what it looks like.
She's a barbarian.
She is a barbarian, and she is hot. But she's like a berserker of her kind and stuff like that. So she has this rage mode, which is what he calls a demon, like what he was calling the demon that took her over.
It might actually be a demon, though? That was kind of unexplained.
No, it's just the berserker thing. It's like black magic type of thing. It's not demons. And it was just... Did you shit your pants?
No.
You lying?
No, I was confused. I thought you were talking about the story, and I'm like, no, I didn't shit my pants. No, I did not shit my pants.
Okay, because I smelled shitted for a second.
It could be the beer.
Could be the beer. It's just such a good way to make that twist. I was so not invested, like everything that you said at first, and I was really annoyed with that because I love this artist, and I saw tons of artwork on his Instagram, stuff like that.
That's what I was going to lead into next, was that it just looks so freaking good. The
art is beautiful. The coloring mixing with the art style in itself is just fantastic. And also, there are times in this book where it talks about what happened before the quench, is what they call it, when all magic died and all these things. I forgot to mention that in the story, he's trying to find a cure for her berserker thing, what he thinks is a cure. because she leaves him every time she's in this berserker state, so that because she doesn't want him to see her like that, and so he's always trying to look for her and stuff like that, and he's trying to find magic because this world is like without magic, kind of.
A magic cure for her berserker.
Yeah, but there are times where this book goes into the backstory and exposition of what happens, like with the Urkins and before the Quench, and all of it was drawn on cardboard.
Yes.
And it looked fantastic. I'm like, that is such a great way to not have to color something, and it looks old and it's cool.
Like old parchment.
Yeah.
Speaking on the art, it brings me back to like old cartoons, kind of like the old Hobbit movie, or like Five-O Goes West, maybe.
Yeah, I can see that.
Something like that. It brings me back to those old 80s cartoons, and it makes me so happy inside because it looks so good.
It gave me a mix of that and a mix of like the latest seasons of Adventure Time, around like when they started making the coloring way better, and because over time they just made the coloring better and the art style like that, and that's what this reminds me of, in a sense, except it's a little bit sharper with characters and stuff like that. But every character design is so unique, and that's what really interests me as well.
I kind of wish this book hadn't censored itself. I wish like the language wasn't cartoon swears.
Me too.
And
kind of takes you out a bit, right?
Well, especially when there's like a full paragraph and someone drops a no-no word, and it's like I'm stuck left trying to guess what that no-no word is, and like nothing fits well. It's like, what? Why?
I use fucking or like
that fit most of the time, but there were a couple times where I'm like, is it? I don't know. I don't know what that one is, and that's when I was taken out of the experience.
Right.
Also, it just make the humor of the Pentacorn swearing nonstop even funnier.
Yes, the Pentacorn screaming all the time, and like it's just so much fun.
Because at first I thought the Pentacorn, it was just symbols. I thought it was just like whatever a Pentacorn sounds like, and I'm like, huh? And then they talk about his foul-mouthed unicorn, and it was like, oh, he's cursing. That's funny.
Or in the beginning when he sees he finds like the remains of a dragon, and the remains of the dragon just like, itch my arse, and he just wants to like be helped, but
they drop ass and bullocks all the time, but censor everything out, and it's like either go all in or not at all.
Exactly. But spoilers, I love the Pentacorn especially because how he has to calm down the Pentacorn every now and then. He's the only one that knows the words, but he has to tell this younger character who looks up to him how to like calm the Pentacorn down.
Don't say what the magic phrase
Why?
is. Come on.
Why not?
It's one of the best reveals of the book.
Yeah, but I want to say it.
No.
That's why I said spoilers.
Don't.
I said spoilers.
No.
Why?
It also didn't seem fair to the Pentacorn because they keep injecting him with this magic green goo that like,
the Acheir.
It's like nitrous for a car basically, but it makes him go cuckoo and faster and bigger and stronger and whatever, and also seems to give him even more horns maybe.
It evolves him.
Yeah, like a Pokemon, but evil Pokemons.
True,
and,
but it makes him the prettiest boy.
But it didn't seem fair to the Pentacorn to like inject him with all the goo and then have to calm him down later. It's like, well, what do you want from the guy? The poor guy is just running his ass off.
That's why he's being so calm with him, and that's why he loves him so much. You know? I can't remember what his name is. Cox. I think it's literally Cox or something like that.
The kid character is annoying and funny. I liked her a lot.
I didn't really find her annoying.
Well, she's like, what are you doing? Like, where are you going?
Oh, like typical
why are you like,
annoying. Right.
Yeah, like a good balance of the annoying kid character.
Yeah, it is. And it's
very enjoyable.
I liked her. She meshed well. Her personality did with our main character. This book is called Coda, but his name's not Coda.
I don't think so, no.
What is Coda?
I don't know. I think they've said it once or twice.
Maybe. Very strange.
The book is left on a sort of cliffhanger. Like the I guess the main plot is resolved, but it's left way wide open for more books.
Exactly. I mean, it's also called Book 1.
Wow, that doesn't go so far. A lot of collected editions do that in case there are more books, and then they never make the same format anyway, so it doesn't matter. But the last page of the story says something.
Also, just the covers that are in the back of this hardcover are just so good. Also, I loved seeing like the younger versions of them, like at their wedding, like it's a wedding photo.
Yeah.
That is so cute. Let me see that. It's just so good.
The colors are so good.
Everything's so good.
Yes.
Look at them. They're so cute and small. And then you see like the other main characters in the back too, like mermaid ladies at the wedding.
How do I say this? There weren't a whole lot of characters introduced, so the reveal of the villain was not really a surprise.
You know what's funny? I like how you say that. I was actually surprised. I know she was a bitch, but like I'm so used to characters just being bitches.
It's said all the way along, like, there's a lot of distrust in this universe anyway. People don't trust each other. It's dog eat dog. And there's a lot of hints dropped like that, so then when it is revealed, it's like, I'm stupid, I should have predicted that. Because there were hints all the way along.
I did feel that way, but I didn't predict it.
I didn't really call it per se, but it was like, oh, that's the villain.
I thought the other twist was really nice about the city.
Oh, the king of the city?
Yeah, the king of the city. I thought that was so cool.
That was pretty cool.
I really liked that. There's a lot of really nice twists that are in this.
Yeah, and it keeps you invested.
Yeah, it does. Good book. How much is it?
50, I think?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you got a Jetpack too, right?
Yep.
So we both got it at Jetpack for $50. I think it's totally worth.
It's a nice, tall, I guess the width is pretty normal, but it's really tall and it's a really nice hardcover. It's just a gorgeous collected edition.
It is. I love having it on my shelf.
I would have hated to read this issue by issue.
Me too. I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah, I'm glad we waited for the book. This wasn't even on my radar until you were like, we're reading this for a topic. And I was like, okay.
I didn't even know it existed until I was following the artist. I was following him for a little bit, actually, and then he's like, hey, I have a book. I'm like,
what?
and I looked through his feed, like even more like his media. I'm like, oh, he has been sharing this. Why have I not like paid attention?
Yeah.
And fantastic book. I give it a 7 muscle mommies out of 7 swearing pentacorns.
I don't think I have reviewed it yet, but I'll give it a 5 out of 5. Like, easy.
I mean, you could knock off points for exposition, but see, exposition isn't bad, and there's this whole thing about stories where it's like you need to show, not tell, and exposition is actually helpful, and it's good because you do need it. It's just sometimes, if the exposition is written as in like, this is exposition, then it's bad. But if it's written like there's a need for it, like for characters, it's a need for the characters, not just for the readers, then it's good. For example, Inception. How they explain the whole concept of how it works and how the dream world works is we have our main character, the Inception dude with the spinny top, and then we have
our main character, Inception, Mr. Inception.
Yeah, I don't know I can't remember his name is, and then you have the young girl who's new to the whole thing, and she's the new architect. She doesn't know how this world works, and we don't know either. So we are brought into as being like her, and she is also the audience, and he explains it to us through her.
Right.
That is a great way
Classic.
that is the best way, in my opinion, to explain that. And I think this book does do that. It's just my personal bias is that I like show don't tell. but there's nothing wrong with exposition, so I'm not knocking down any points.
Easy.
Book, great. Moving on.
I read Batman, One Bad Day, Catwoman.
Armpits.
I'm only halfway through the series, by the way. This is written by G. Willow Wilson and illustrated by Jamie McKelvey.
Yep.
Catwoman is like, damn, me and my sister are poor. I remember a time when Mom sold that really cool thing to the asshole pawn shop owner, and he cheated her of the price. I'm gonna steal it back because it's at a museum show tonight, and make my millions and share with my sister or whatever.
Because I shitted my pants.
I shitted my pants. They're very nice pants, by the way. Collin and I were discussing very shortly before the start of the recording of how hot this costume design is. And it doesn't even make sense of why it's so hot. All they did was give her, like, armpit space. Her armpits are exposed.
It's basically the same black, like, Catwoman suit.
Yes.
But it's just skin. But it's not skin where the booba is. Skin in armpits. Why? I don't know.
It makes sense practically because the leather is going to bind you up and make it so you can't move very well. So it adds flexibility, which is great. But besides that, I'm a little uncomfortable with the kink, like, metal ring at her neck.
She's had that forever.
She walks down the street with this on, and it looks like a BDSM suit. I'm sorry.
That's the whole point of Catwoman.
It can be.
You do know that, right?
It can be.
No, it always has been.
No.
Yes, it has.
No. I like how sometimes they throw in, like, the I don't know what it's called, the bubble or the dot artwork to show that her suit is, like, shiny leather. Mm-hmm. Like in that shot right there.
Yes.
There's nice dots all over it, and it looks good. The ears are a little bit much. They're really tall ears for this suit. Which, I mean, I don't care. It's a Catwoman suit. That's how she roll. Ooh, that was another good shot with the dots.
Ooh, yes. Also, her and...
Stop it!
Oh, hip. Also, she is muscle mommy now.
She is doing the heist in the museum, and she ducks in and out of closets and changes outfits like 4 times, and it felt like a Hitman game. Like, where are all these costumes coming from? Who knows? It's not explained.
Nope.
There's an older villain that's doing the same heist, but is kind of better at it than Catwoman is. And her character, basically, is not explained at all. Batman's like, yeah, I've been tracking her down for months now. And Catwoman's like, and you only decide to make a move when I'm trying to do this? Piss off. And the old lady, like, beats the shit out of Catwoman. And Batman's like, I told you so. And nothing's explained. Why? How is the old lady super strong? How is she so good at her job? Why is she doing all this? Nothing. She gets away, and that's the end of the issue. It feels like a story that was made to be continued, but it's a fucking one-shot. Why? It was a really good issue until that, and that lost it like 2 stars out of the gate. Jeez. It looks really good. Kind of wish there was more. Not happy. $18 hardcover.
18?
Stairway to Heaven Comics has been super helpful. I keep going in there trying to pick up all these as they're being released, and the owner there, Brad, is a super nice guy, and he was like, I didn't really know how popular those would sell, so I didn't order them, so he ordered them special for me. And he is my dad. I like him a lot. Yeah, I'll keep reading more. I got 3 more, I think. Clayface, Ra's al Ghul, and the other one.
I'm trying to get into my HBO Max on my phone so I can look at what I've watched.
because I know I have something, and I just can't remember what it is. Just give me 1 second.
Spencer is away and should be busy, not on his phone. He even told us, I'm going to be turning my phone off, so don't talk to me the whole weekend I'm away. And he's been talking to us the whole time he's been away. But he hit me up today, jizzing his pants about Immortal Thor #1. And I will not be talking about it today. He's probably got better thoughts than I do. I just loved it. I read it, I went, wow! And I don't really have good reasons why.
What the fuck? Why is this on my list?
Is it the Barbie movie?
It's because I was on Emma's version of HBO Max. Not on my character. I just unadded something for her.
Oopsie! You are a terrible person.
Oh well. I'll just go for it.
Yeah.
I watched the first season of the new series by Gendy Tarkovsky. I think that's Gennady or something like that.
Name.
Yep, he's the guy that created Samurai Jack. He's also the one that created Primal, and also worked on the 2003 Star Wars Clone Wars, which inspired the Clone Wars in 2008.
As a quick aside, it doesn't matter how waist deep I am in work. Someone can say something that can't even be taken as a double entendre, and I've got that on deck, stuck in my throat, ready to go.
It's,
yeah.
Or someone will say something like, you like that, chuppa me up. It's so easy. I don't know why it's there.
It's just right there.
It's right there.
Hair trigger.
It's just there. It's right here at the top of my throat.
Ooh, it's right there for me.
Really? Down?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's up.
Nope.
Weird. So, Unicorn Warriors Eternal is about a group of heroes dubbed Unicorn are accidentally reawakened in the bodies of teenagers instead of adult hosts they've embodied in the past. These characters are... I cannot remember all their names, but we have Merlin's daughter. I can't remember her name, but she's like this black witch type of character. Like, she's fully engulfed in black, and it's like black flame, and her magic in this world is like only she can use this magic. Like, it did not exist until she was born. And we also follow her love interest, which is the prince of the Elven Kingdom in the forest somewhere in Germany. And he is like, these elves are like fully baby blue, skin colored. He's got a flying sword, which is super awesome. And it's like, it's an enchanted sword, but it's like, it's its own living entity at the same time. And we have this cosmic monk. He can see, he's in our world, but also in his mind, and what he sees is not the same as us. Like, he is in this cosmic energy at all times. Like, he can just sit there, meditate, immediately go to a different timeline and like find stuff and like information. He can find people in the world. And they have their buddy, who's this giant golden metal thing created by Otto that is from the future. Like, this thing was brought to the past during Merlin's time and used as a... After they defeated like the great evil that they were fighting, he brought them this back to the past, and he's like, hey, the evil's going to return eventually. I think that you all need to allow this vessel to hold your spirits, and whenever it returns, these spirits of yours will be put into temporary hosts until the evil is gone again, and then your spirits will be put back into this metal body, and then those people that we use their bodies for to fight the great evil, they can return back to their lives. It's been like centuries since the last time that they were brought back, and it is like steampunk, the 1800s or something like that, maybe like 1850, something like that. And they are in a weird pickle.
Are they in Pickle Rick?
Yes. The metal body that transported their bodies or transported their souls or essence has been like reawakened for some reason, and he chooses the hosts, and they're usually supposed to be like the best fit for these spirits, like characteristics and stuff like that. But he chooses all these like it says teenagers, but they're all like college students really, because I don't think the girl, because she was about to get married, and during that time period it was more like a teenager that was going to get married. Anyways, he just chooses very strange individuals to like host the spirits, and it's a whole ordeal. Merlin's daughter, her spirit is put into this woman named Emma, and she's like, I'm not Merlin's daughter. I don't even know who I am. So it's both their souls and personalities are like clashing together, even though when the main character's souls are supposed to take over the body, their whole essence, the original hosts, is supposed to like be sleeping basically, and the new main character's essence are supposed to take over. In her, it's just like a back and forth, like they don't know who they are for like a while, and it's a whole ordeal. It is a fantastic cartoon. Anytime
someone, or I read Reawakened or hear Reawakened, all I can think of is Mushu from Mulan. I'm alive! As he like rises from the smoke.
Boomer!
Bite me. Mulan is one of the best Disney movies ever.
Mulan's really good. It's just a really good show. There's about, I think, there's 10 episodes, and it went over the course of a couple months or something like that. It's an HBO Max original. It is just really good. The art style is a little different from what Tarkovsky usually does. So I think it was a different designer. Or
it looks more cartoony, like the characters are more rounded.
Yes, they're very round. But it's really good. I suggest everyone watch it.
I read more of my Black Panther omnibus written by Ta-Nehisi Coates. I read the equivalent of the 5th volume, the 5th trade. It's titled Avengers of the New World Part 2, and I don't really remember why it's a Part 2. By itself, it just worked really well. I was intending to only read like an issue or two. There's 6 issues, and it turned out I just read the whole thing in one sitting. It was so good. I remember why now. There was in the last one, there was this bad guy, and he was opening magical doors everywhere, and there were creatures coming through the doors, and they were attacking Wakanda. And Black Panther was like, I don't know where these doors and monsters is coming from. So this trade deals with the last trade. The country is like, the gods are dead, they're not answering us. And then this trade deals with that. And T'Challa sees the gods and they answer him, and it's a really cool visual, I guess, a really cool explanation of what the gods were doing. There was a guy, I don't remember his name, he's like, you guys are thinking in binaries of either the gods are listening or they're not listening, or they answer or they ignore you. Maybe they just got bored and moved on. Like, really, really cool spiritual stuff with the Wakandan gods.
Bless you. Shut the fuck up.
There was a lot of lore about the history of the gods, and like an explanation about Bast, which is where the Black Panther mythology comes from. Really, really good stuff. There was also like a little bit about Storm, T'Challa's hot waifu, being a god probably, but not like that. And that was all really cool. And it ended with T'Challa and Storm getting back together again. And that was really hot and cool. This trade had a weird renumbering. It went from like, I don't know, the Black Panther number 26 to number 166. It was like, why? The next trade starts over with number 1.
I hate Marvel.
I hate it so much. That's why I buy omnibuses.
Omnibuses are good.
No, I said omnibuses.
And I said omnibuses.
I'm halfway through the omnibus
That's hot.
of Black Panther, and I'm very excited to read more. Apparently the next one goes like super sci-fi and there's flying cars everywhere or something. I don't know. It looks really cool. Very, very good stuff. I enjoyed it. Way more than like I thought I would. I sat and I read all 6 issues in one sitting. It was so good.
That's good to hear.
I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, I think. And I'm definitely getting my money's worth out of this book.
I think I can talk about this fully now. Okay.
We got 2 topics, boys.
Yes, sir.
Where are we dropping?
I finished HBO Max's My Adventures with Superman.
Is it your first time finishing?
It's not my first time finishing. So I remember talking about the first 3 episodes when they came out.
Tomboy and Lois Lane.
Yep. I looked up online to see how many. I know we talked about it like months ago, maybe even a year ago, like how many episodes there was supposed to be. And everywhere online says 9. And I guess like I finished it, so there's 9 episodes total. This show, it just keeps getting better. It's fantastic. At first, I was a little annoyed with some of the coloring and the art style of how it is, because it just seems like super bright and almost like stale in certain scenes. And then as the season goes on, it adds more color and more variety of shades and like color grading, I guess you could say. And Superman's character development is really cool. I cannot talk about it enough. Like, it's just, every time we see Superman, he immediately figures out his powers and stuff like that, or like within the hour or something. In this, like one of the last episodes, he figures out that he has super hearing. In like the first couple episodes, all he knew is that he could fly and he has super strength. And then he learns he has laser vision, and then he has this weird like electricity pulse, which I don't remember him ever having. And then he finds out that he has super hearing. And in this episode, where he finds that out, he stays up like for 3 days straight, drinking energy drinks like crazy, relatable. And he's flying around the whole city because he can hear everyone that needs help. So he just keeps going back and forth and doing all this. And eventually, he's trying to find the government guy. The guy who created Task Force X. And in this universe, the guy who created it isn't Amanda Waller, but she becomes the leader of it after she gets rid of that guy. And
that
so
guy disappeared.
Actually doesn't disappear.
Wow.
He is still a part of it, but he's not the commander anymore.
Waller didn't disappear him?
No.
Yet.
But we learn a lot of really cool stuff about how, like, there was a Kryptonian invasion once, like, 22 years ago, in that universe. 22 years ago, it was, like, a Kryptonian invasion, and they think that Superman, the government thinks that Superman is, like, a thing that's supposed to, like, intercept Earth and, like, gain their trust, and, like, a whole, like, Viltrumite thing from Invincible. And this, it's so weird. You'd think it's General Zod, but you can't tell because the symbol is just like the diamond shape on his chest. And everything, like, from their vehicles and their ships are all, like, surrounded by, like, the designs are surrounded by that symbol of those harsh, diamond shape. And they play around with that a lot, which is really cool. And they have, like, robots and all these things. But then the invasion gets stopped, but we don't know how. It just looks like the entire armada got blown up through the portal because they invaded through a portal that's shaped like the diamond from Superman's chest. So that's why the government is scared of Superman, because he has all the same powers, all these things. And just the progression of his character. And also, I love how Jimmy Olsen isn't just like a kid. He's the same age as Superman, so they're like friends. They're actually buddies, not just this kid sees me as an idol. And Lois Lane isn't just a bitch that's like horny for Superman. She loves Clark, and then she discovers on her own that Clark is Superman, and she's upset with him for lying to him, and
lying to her,
and he's upset with her because he's like, how do you expect me to like tell you the truth? Because you think Superman's a liar, and before you even knew I was Superman, you thought Superman was a liar, and he's a turd, and he's lying about something, and all this. Like, how can I trust you? And so then it's like this whole thing, and then they make up, and then they make out, and then they're in love, and they go on their first date and stuff like that. And we get to also see Mixoplex or Mixioplex or whatever. Just all these characters that they show us. It's just really cool how they introduce it. And it's just a lot of fun. And the redesigns of characters. It kind of reminds me of like how the Batman was. All these redesigns of characters. You can tell that those are their characters. Like, this is Bane, this is Batman for the Batman. The same way how you can tell that this is a Parasite. Not just from what he says, but just the design itself. Parasite, and then you have Banshee, and all these other things. It just does a nice spin on it, and how all their characters, the bad guys, their way of amplifying their superpowers and all these things is by using Kryptonian technology. Which is a cool twist. There's a lot of like cool little bits that they do about this. And I really love the show, and I can't wait for season 2. I can't get enough of it.
Any word on season 2 yet?
Not that I know of, because
Probably because of the writers and actor strikes.
Probably, but I haven't looked up anything really. I'm just like waiting. Mm-hmm. Just being like a normal dude.
Right.
Not a podcast dude.
One of these days, you'll just pull up HBO and be like, holy shit, there's season 2!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
That's what I'm hoping.
Well, speaking of we have to thank our patrons, Jeff Lawrence and Caitlin, because they give us money, and that makes us go. Is that the bass line from Down with the Sickness?
No, that's the dog, the wiener dog flying in a plane.
Oh.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
No clue. Is that like the spoonful of food airplane?
No,
crashing into the two towers?
Well, thanks to our patrons, Jeff Lorenz and Caitlin, because of them, we can say our stupid jokes with lights on instead of off.
I thought about turning the light off because the light makes it warm in here, and
it does make it warm.
It's already warm in here.
And also, like, I just want to make it like more sexual if we have the lights off.
Well, you should have said something at the beginning of the show.
Well, you know what? I don't feel like I should have to say. You should just know me.
I knew that you wanted to look at Coda again.
Yeah, in dim lighting.
Thank you also to Jetpack Comics and Games. They supply us with the books we read and review, and they're super cool, and they always have books on sale to talk about. Go buy books from Jetpack. But if you don't like books, or if you can't read books, buy D&D stuff or card games or something. Buy something.
Buy Warhammer stuff.
No, don't buy Warhammer.
What the fuck?
Just because Henry Cavill makes it cool does not mean...
It's not even just Henry Cavill. It's fucking cool because they're fucking space marines and they're all fucked up and shit.
And you gotta read 40 years of lore to understand anything.
That's fine. You don't like deciphering... You don't like pondering your orb, deciphering through the arcane fucking arts, dude?
No.
Of literature?
Not after 40 years of Warhammer lore.
Fucking heresy.
Okay.
Heretic.
Shoot me.
I will. With my penis.
Next next week is news. There's news happening all the time. Oh, no, actually, we need to talk about that. Next week might not be news, and we will talk about this during Happy Hour.
Oh.
That you have access to when you become a patron, just like Caitlin and Jeff Lawrence have. So go over to patreon.com/dimecomicbros network, sign up under one of the 4 tiers, and find out what is going on. Tune in next week. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
Brainworms in my ass.
Yeah. I'm not doing that. A kazoo is so hard to drive.
It is.